Reality is, the more risk you take, the luckier you get. So people need to learn to take one big risk a day. Every day take a risk and build up that risk muscle, because risk is where success comes.
Risk must be taken for the greatest. Hazard in life is to risk nothing.
Take the biggest fucking risks of your entire life right now. Remember, you have time.
I think that most people, the reason that they lack success in their life is that they lack the courage to make the decisions that need to be made to put them in the position that they want to be in.
You can get so scared, and you can be so easily lulled into the idea that good is good enough, that feeling safe and comfortable is what you should always be looking for. That way of thinking, in your 20s in particular, dead fucking wrong. I want you to start to create this mindset of taking risks and going big.
Yeah, dog. Welcome to R2R. Welcome to Rector Riches. Don't forget to smash the like button, drop a comment, and to subscribe. You got to subscribe to the damn channel. What are you doing? There's like a big percentage of you that are not. Follow me on X. Follow me on aka Twitter, freedom of speech platform, and get on YouTube and subscribe. Post notifications. Now, always remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm for damn sure not a professional. This is cryptocurrency, right? Don't ever allow an influencer on any social media platform out there to influence you when it comes to crypto. This is pure entertainment purposes. You could lose it all. All right. Now that we got that out the way, we're going to talk about Richard Hart. The ProveX sacrifices. It has come to an end for quite a few days now. Finally came to an end. When's it going to launch? We'll speculate. We'll talk more about that. But before we continue, don't forget, we're going to shout out the official sponsor of the R2R live streaming video content. Head over to dexfi.com/bonds. Already paid out $833,697 in USDC over on base chain. APR 27.3%. Right now it costs $70.28 in Ethereum to mint one. You get that passive exposure to the strategies that they use. You get that complete expert entry and exit timing with precision managed liquidity and range settings. It doesn't get any easier than that. Kicking back, relaxing, producing divs. And then also let's shout out to the Wise lending platform. Head over to app.wiselending.com/RWA vaults. Got a big live stream interview with Peter Wise from the Wise ecosystem. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. January the 13th. Tune in. Don't forget. Take a look at this quick video here. That way you can take a look at joining their platform, where you can earn 20% fixed APR on USDT or USDC on Ethereum or Arbitron. Okay, guys? Talk about putting your stables to work. Check it out. All right, guys. The link's in the description, and you can see it right across the dashboard as well. Don't forget to head over to app.wiselending.com/RWA vaults, where you can start earning 20% fixed APR in USDC or USDT on either the Ethereum blockchain or Arbitrum. So you can pick your chain, pick your position in either of the stable tokens, and start your journey today. And, the main thing that you want to focus on right now in crypto, in my belief, is real world assets. And these are regular companies that are offering revenue, sharing to crypto users like yourself. The RWA businesses, they're immune to common security exploits that we mostly see in smart contracts today. So they've integrated only the most stable and recession-proof opportunities for users like yourself. You can simply click here, open your position. Once you open the position, you can make your deposit, but you're going to want to accept the terms and understand that the vault positions are secured by real-world assets, and they're not immediately withdrawable. Users will be able to receive the vault tokens after depositing, which can be used to retrieve principal funds via withdrawal queue as well. Once you connect your wallet to Rabby or whichever wallet you use, you can make that position. And again, if you want to exit down the road at any time, it's liquidating principal. So users can retrieve that principal back from the vault by simply setting a sell order. So this switches all new money coming into the vault to purchase your sell order first before sending any more funds to World Mobile. Open that view position button and select the withdrawal. It's pretty easy, but you probably want to get in. So click the open position, whether it's USDC or USDT, accept the terms, connect that wallet, and let's get the party started. All right. So don't forget, guys, links in the description. Head over to app.wiselending.com/RWA vault for real world asset opportunity to earn 20% fixed APR. So let's talk about the price of Bitcoin really quick. What's going on, Texas Raider? Appreciate you being here. How's your evening? It's going good, man. Going good. We're live streaming, getting into that crypto. So price of Bitcoin today, $91,360. Hey, listen, right now we got a whole lot of things going on, right? So we always want to just take a look at the stock market. I mean, we're looking at all-time highs, S&P futures right now. Things have been moving forward. If you just rewind real quick, go back in time 1 year ago when Trump first introduced the tariffs, the tariff war, right? Putting crazy tariffs on countries like China, all over the place. And it stirred the pot. There was a lot of volatility, but gradually through the entire year of 2025, the stock market went up and to the right. Okay. So although there was a lot of scare, a lot of volatility, people took advantage of buying those dips in the stock market. They took advantage of buying the dips in crypto because crypto, Bitcoin, is directly correlated with the stock market. Stock market crashes, Bitcoin crashes. There's a whole lot of new money involved this cycle in the past 4 years where institutions are coming in. You got BlackRock, you got MicroStrategies buying every Sunday, Michael Saylor. You got the whole shebang. You ask for it, you got it. Be careful for what you wish for. But stock market's all-time high. Now, there's a whole lot of things that you can worry about out there. Is it in a bubble? I believe so. I think there's an AI bubble. I think there's an everything bubble. Gold and silver are up. I've been talking about for years on previous channels, buying silver at $15, and that the day would come where, listen, we're going to have to face the harsh reality of this inflation in the U.S. that's just out of control. And we've seen other countries, just their currencies basically suffer from hyperinflation and become practically nothing. That's just when you print money like that and you got no supply cap, that's what happens. But now we have the Supreme Court. If they rule that the tariffs are illegal, there's going to be some people that are going to be putting in some shorts, and the market is going to do what it does, and it's going to act like a damn fool. But let's jump over to Richard Hart's ProveX sacrifice, right? I don't know what to think. Okay, I got a whole different, my mind's going everywhere here. Obviously, we saw the PulseChain sacrifice. We saw the PulseX sacrifice happen. Over $1 billion raised. Okay, SEC comes after PulseChain, slaps Richard Hart with the case right after it launches in May of 2023. And there you have it. You saw the price go down and practically do nothing during basically the bottom of the previous cycle between what I believe was 2021 through 2025 cycle, the 4-year cycle. And I do believe we're in a bear. But yeah, right after it came out, SEC dropped the case, and we've just seen nothing but moments where Richard Hart has come and pumped the chain, and it just keeps going down and to the right, which is not good, especially typically during the middle of a cycle is the bottom of the bear where you buy and everything goes up and to the right. Okay, so it didn't follow the path of Bitcoin going to new all-time highs. Bitcoin was like $26,000 when the PulseChain sacrifice and the actual launch took place. I believe we checked it out the other day. when I looked at what were the numbers when PulseChain launched in May of 2023, right? So the price of Bitcoin, May 2023, right, which is the middle of the cycle between 2021 and 2025, we're looking at a $28,000, about $26,800 Bitcoin in 2023. So what, Bitcoin did $100,000 leap during that time? That's a pretty mega jump. Now, Ethereum didn't perform and go beyond its all-time high like Bitcoin, but there was a lot of millionaires made and early on opportunities across the board, whether it was meme tokens, utility tokens, you name it. There was opportunity to get into stuff really early and make a lot of money during that cycle. Plus, Bitcoin went up 100,000. So Pulse did not perform the way people had wished or planned. In this experiment, this game of cryptocurrency, all of us that did sacrifice for PulseChain were thinking about that 10,000x in Hex. When I got into Hex, December of 2019, I rode the 10,000x. I was buying all between December and January and going into the AA lobby staking, and I changed my life, right? Bought a house for my family, did very well. And then I put a lot of that money that was gains back into Richard Hart's game plan of launching a blockchain. And almost 3 years coming up now, and he has a third sacrifice, which the last time I covered it only had $16 million in USD value. Then we saw a ton of money being tornado cashed, right, into the sacrifice. And if we all speculated and could honestly say, I would be 100% confident in saying, yeah, that was Richard Hart. They got the money, tornado cashed it, basically took all the money that was sacrificed for PulseChain and PulseX and cycled it into ProveX. That's how it went from $16 million to $404 million. It didn't just have like a burst of interest from a worldwide of new users that were interested in ProveX. He cycled the original money that we put in almost 3 years ago into this and popped it from 16 million to 404 million. There was very, very low participation. So it is what it is now. Now he owns a lot of the supply, just like the supply shock that we saw because he owned a lot of Hex. I was early in those days, and then I was starting to watch in real time how people can play with thin liquidity. If you have a small liquidity for a cryptocurrency and your intentions are to pump it with a lot of money, you can do that. You can make a coin 100x very easily. The good thing is when he did the 100x to the 200 to the 10,000x gains, he was a benevolent whale, and that was allowed to happen. But what happens at the top of markets? Everything goes down. There's nothing out there that is going to survive a bear market and not go down 75 to 90%. And in most cases, the scams get washed out and go to zero. So Hex, known as eHex now, you saw what happened. Went down more than 95, more than 99%. So with that being said, all that money that went into the PulseChain sacrifice was because we experienced the 10,000x gains. Everybody saw what we were excited about, saw the cars, the success, and that's what led into people buying Hex at the top, getting into the sacrifice, and then, losing money. There's no way else to put it. You buy a top or you buy a bottom, and you don't know where this, unless you have experience, then you know how to time things. Was PulseChain related to Hex coin in any ways? For some reason, I thought they were. Perhaps I'm wrong. Yes. Hex was created by Richard Hart, and then he launched PulseChain and PulseX and had a sacrifice, same founder. And then he basically made the world's biggest airdrop. So if you had Hex on Ethereum, every ERC20 token on Ethereum got airdropped to people that got into the PulseChain sacrifice and were a part of the sacrifice, and they got airdrop tokens. So if you had, even if you weren't in the sacrifice, if you had Shiba Inu on Ethereum, you would have got an airdrop of Shiba Inu on the PRC20 side on PulseChain called Shiba. It was supposed to bring adoption. See, that was the whole thing. The world's greatest airdrop was supposed to be mega bullish. We thought people were going to get the free tokens and pair them up. provide liquidity. Instead, it became a massive extraction, and people just took the free token, sold it, and bridged back to Ethereum. So, I think that the good thing here is he hasn't ran off on us. He put all that sacrifice money into this. That's the positive. But I gotta go back and take a look at when we last talked about this a few weeks back. It was $16 million. So it was not organic sacrifice funds that came into this. It was Richard Hart taking our prior sacrifice money from 2.5 years ago and cycling it into this, which was the same thing where did the ETH go with Hex back in the AA lobby days, cycling that Ethereum into the system, getting a lot of the supply, using the money to pump the bag. Low liquidity. If you're in a crypto that has $100,000 in liquidity and there's a founder with millions of dollars, he can pump you 100x easy. But there's not a lot of founders that are benevolent to do that. That was a good thing that Richard Hart did. And that's why there's still a lot of trust there. There's never been a token sold in the OA addresses, right? The OA address of Hex never sold a single token. Now, he could have hundreds of other wallets and have been dumping the whole time at the top, which was above 50 cents during the last cycle. We would never know, right? It's just a question mark. Did he? I don't know. Did the OA addresses? No. So that's the only aspect of on-chain trust that we know that we can follow and go by and say, hey, those tokens that have 80% of the supply of Hex never sold a single Hex. Matter of fact, they've recently staked a ton in the recent months. So there's been some good benevolent moves as far as that, but people are continuing to sell it, and it didn't perform this cycle. It just didn't. So ProveX has to prove something. I mean, I guess the good thing we could take a look at here too on the other side is he didn't take the sacrifice money and send it elsewhere, and we don't see any money in ProveX. He at least put that in, and now he's going to have complete control of the supply, just like he did with Hex with ProveX. And there's a need for the technology. I won't deny that. There's an absolute need for privacy and what ProveX brings to the table. However, the performance of PulseChain clearly shows there was not enough new users to even hit sacrifice prices, even after Richard Hart defeated the SEC in court. The only founder, the only decentralized cryptocurrency in existence that actually went the distance, didn't pay a fine. Some people pay 30 million, 25, whatever. I think it's like $30 million, and they pay the fine. He beat them. But even after that, it just wasn't enough for people to recognize it. It's like it was a ghost. It was just people that would not accept Richard Hart as somebody that they want to, come over and play. It didn't have a big meme season like Solana. There's a lot of lacking. It's hard to launch a blockchain, and for it to be successful, you need new users. So the moment new users stop coming in, it could be a slow death or a ghost town, which is kind of one and the same, I would imagine, right? If no new users, ghost town, not going to go anywhere. But hey, the sacrifice money, from my knowledge, is in here now for $400 million plus, at least 390 million, not counting the 60 million before. And that's going to be supply control. With the small liquidity, could be pumped very easily, but that is the playbook. Right? When I got into Hex early, I didn't know it was going to do a 10,000x. He always said it was designed to, right? What he meant by that was he had the formula on how to do it. Low liquidity, control the supply, pour tons of money into it. So we know he knows how to pump a token, right? A token. He knows how to pump a token. He could not pump a blockchain though. It didn't work. Okay, he pumped Hex token, and then we had the Pulse blockchain, which is PulseX, which included Ink, and then the famous eHex that was airdropped over, and then PulseChain Hex as well. Couldn't pump the entire ecosystem. It was all too much weight on the shoulders as far as tokens. Right, there's not enough money to do that. And now with ProveX, it's a single token. So that got me wondering, like, could I experience Hex 2.0 all over again? Strong possibility, but it is tied in with PulseChain, and PulseChain so far has been a big disappointment. How do we get from where we've been to more and more and more new users? I don't know. Good old Richie is still wanted by Interpol, still on the run. And I think a lot of people are scared for numerous reasons, price being one of them, right? People are scared when the price is down, which is a good indication to either buy or run away. And you flip the coin, make a choice, and you'll know what happens later in this experiment of, a blockchain and now a privacy platform that does have high demand, but the demand would be much higher and appreciated if it was built on Ethereum with the token versus PulseChain. And maybe if Vitalik versus Richard Hart would be even way more bullish. It would be a world spread event of people onboarding and using it. So if PulseChain has been a ghost town and PulseChain hasn't been performing like we wanted after 2.5 years, could we speculate that ProveX would get users if PulseChain didn't? And then if not, will it be an opportunity for him just to pump the token and get the glory of that, just like with Hex? But someone's going to always end up at the bag regardless. It takes losers to create winners. That's the stock market. That's crypto. There's no way around it. Maddie, yeah, we aren't into Maddie. Watch some of Hex deal. It's about crazy that you aren't invited to a big speaker on there. I know, Maddie supports my channel too, and he never invites me to the Hex things. I don't know why. They have green first cycle chicks on speaking. It's crazy. Your knowledge far exceeds 90% of the speakers. Yeah, man. I most of those speakers didn't get in early in Hex like I did. Didn't even get in Bitcoin early. Bro, I've been buying Bitcoin since $250. Ethereum, $7, everything. I was mining Ethereum in the early days. I was mining 1.5 Ethereum a day, and it was worth like $7. And then mining difficulties went up, so I went down to like 0.5 ETH per day, and I stopped because I didn't want to buy more hardware and keep up with the mining difficulty, which I should have. You see, when mining difficulty increases, you're that new, you're like, oh, I'm not getting as much as Ethereum, and it's costing me $200 in this and electricity. I should have kept mining it because it was only $7 back then. I was mining it from a mining rigs that I built from computers. So when the difficulty went up from me producing 1.5 Ethereum per day, when it was worth $7 or so, I should have kept buying more equipment, putting more money into it. Would have made a ton more money. But when I went down to 0.5 per day, I was like, no, this isn't going to be worth it. And then several months later, it went to $90, $100. So you can never allow mining difficulty. If you're a miner, when you start to see your mining rewards go down, don't get discouraged. But I mean, I feel like that was an opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, I probably earned 1.5 ETH per day for about like 90 days, keeping up, adding miners. And then if I had continued to compound and did 10, 20 miners and was getting 0.5 Ethereum a day, regardless of the difficulty, eventually probably having to buy double my equipment to sustain that. I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. I was just so new to crypto and just started building miners and trying to figure everything out. I was just like, oh my gosh, like if I had not just looked at the 1.5 going down to 0.5 per day and saw the bigger picture, I would have been a behemoth miner in Ethereum. But it is what it is, man. Let's see. Me being invited to the speaker guest, not because I'm not aware of the term. First that I heard of, that's minus 5%. No, crypto JMO was talking about Maddie Allen inviting me to the Hex conference, which I'm a big, Hex PulseChain supporter. None of them ever invite me. I tell the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So reason why I don't get invited to these conferences or on any cryptocurrency that I follow and talk about, I always talk about the good stuff, but then I showcase the bad stuff too. If I don't like something, if I don't like something, I talk about it. So I get exiled from like every community. If once something stirs up and I don't like it, I got to tell my people and be transparent. And that's why I'm on Exile Island when it comes to you know, PulseX and all their meetings. But 404 million USD value, 1.27 trillion points, 15,682 sacrifices. Let's go take a look at the price of PulseChain right now. Let's see. What up, boss? What's up? Damn, life lessons to crypto. Yeah, man. I should have kept mining Ethereum. I didn't understand. I thought I was just like, I thought when you first started mining, like I was like, I'm gonna always earn 1.5 ETH. And it's like, no, blockchains start to become more difficult. And just like with Bitcoin, did you know right now for Bitcoin, it costs like over $100,000 to mine a Bitcoin right now, right? And I remember when I first was going to mine Bitcoin, when it was worth nothing, right? Bitcoin was worth nothing when I first got interested in mining Bitcoin. It didn't even have a price. So I backed out of it because I was like, this is stupid. You know, I could have mined from my GPU and probably made, you know, thousands of Bitcoin in a month's time easily. And I was smart enough to do it, but I backed out of that and eventually ended up buying at $250 and going, oh, wow, I was buying silver this whole time. What an idiot. And then the mining difficulty went up for Ethereum and I was like, I'm out. You live and learn, man. Difficult being a miner, you have to know what you're doing. And I just got into it. And I thought when I just saw the rewards slowly going down, I wish I could turn back the hands of time. That's all I know. I have lotto miners, might get lucky. Could PulseChain become the next baby BNB as far as ETH pulse ratio? I don't know if I asked that question correctly. Like PulseChain, in my honest opinion, looking at the price, has a lot of upside, but where are all those new users going to come from? Yes, I do believe we have a founder that can manipulate the price. We've seen him do that with Hex, and I made millions of dollars from it. It was great. I didn't know that was happening entirely until after the fact. And then you see like, okay, there was never like enough people that were buying at the cheapest price to pump it than there was people buying towards the top. So most people that got into Hex were buying it over a penny, then started buying it 10 cents, 25, 50, and ultimately, you know, got wrecked. You got to know where you're buying in the cycle. So if I were to want to load up on any token right now, me believing that the 4-year cycle to happen at the top for Bitcoin in October of 2025, October 5th, 2025, at $126,000 Bitcoin, that means the next best time to buy for me would be 2 years from now, the bottom of a 4-year cycle, which would be in 2028, approximately October 2028. And then 2 years from that would be the next top. I believe Bitcoin would be 250,000. I'm only giving you those numbers because I got into crypto between 2013 and 2017 and was buying $200 Bitcoin, buying $7 Ethereum and mining Ethereum Classic. And then everything else I was buying in the middle between 2013 and 2021. Then we had that crazy run. And I was like, yes, I scored. Me and the Winklevoss brothers, you know, because they were the only ones at the time that were super bullish in Bitcoin when I was buying it. So I was taking a leap of faith on going out there. And when I was exploring YouTube, there wasn't very many people making content about it. It was a very like, you couldn't really talk to anybody about Bitcoin. They were like, what? Right? So you go out there and you research. You're like, oh, the Winklevoss brothers from Facebook. Remember the Facebook movie and all that? Well, not the movie at the time, but just the Winklevoss brothers were known for being a part of Facebook, but they were super bullish as far as the twins. When it came to Bitcoin, I was first getting into it. They had been buying it for a long time and were big believers. So I got lucky. Then 2021 hits December, you know, that's when it went up. I had been buying it for, you know, for a couple years, $250, you know, a couple years prior. And then the top hit the $20,000 December 2017 top. And then boom, we went to a $3,000 Bitcoin. And I was like, oh gosh, but I had so much Bitcoin In Ethereum, I wasn't even buying that much on those dips because it didn't make sense to me, because I was like, this thing's really volatile and it's expensive to buy at 3,000, even though it went down, because I had been buying it pretty much everything I accumulated under $300, right? In a couple years prior. I don't know, man. The $1 million Bitcoin, it's got to happen eventually, but I think we're a couple cycles away, to be honest. Do you think Bobby being friends with Maddie from Hex, that's somehow how the structure and growth by injections begin based off coins they are with, or no? No, I don't. Maddie Allen is not like affiliated with Richard Hart in the sense of like having anything to do with the success. And to be honest, Maddie Allen was late to Hex. He's just like the face of it because he had a channel back then. Maddie, I had a channel with 30,000 subscribers talking about Hex, and I was pretty, well known for being early on day one. But like I said, when I started noticing some things I didn't like, the community threw rocks at me. If you're in a community in cryptocurrency and you're not on the bandwagon, like 100% like ride or die, the moment you point out something bad, the founders and the community are going to attack you. It's happened to me so many times. I just kind of keep hush hush now, but I think people know that I just throw these truth bombs. And I don't have harsh intentions. I just want them to know, like, hey, man, there's some weird stuff going on, right? And my commitment is not to Richard Hart. It's not to anybody. If I see something I don't like, I'll point it. If I like it, I'll talk about it. And sometimes I talk about stuff that I don't even realize until later, like, forget these clowns. Like, this is sketchy. So it does happen. Cool. Thanks for clearing that up. A miner asked me about that. Yeah. I don't know if Maddie Allen is still into Texit. One reason Pulse has had a rough 3 years, probably, plus not many new users. Happened to me in TXE. Yeah, it'll always happen, man. I'm telling you, the community in any cryptocurrency will drive you crazy, and you just can't let it get to you. I've been there, done that so many times, being a content creator, and after so many different channels. I deleted my biggest channel. I walked away from crypto because having issues with founders. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to do me. And if they don't like me, so be it. Right? Even Richard Hart blocked me recently and then unblocked me because the community is like, dude, you can't do that, Thomas G. Because, I've been trying to get people to become new users of PulseChain for quite some time. And not even so much just going in there to pump my bags. I want it to grow because I'm a large investor and friends and family of mine are in it. And I thought there could be some great success. I even had some, moments where I was like really, really confident with Peacock, and it had a good run recently, but understand liquidity is low. So it's going to be very volatile, but on the upside, hey, if we were to go into a full on super cycle, like people are talking about, or when the next bull run happens, or if there's one coming, people say there is still, that it's not over, then yeah, there's enough liquidity for just the users that are here to ape and green candles to come. You're going to want to exit though. Listen, if you're in Peacock, PTGC, Atropa, anything in PulseChain or any other network, when it goes up, take your profits. Greed is always going to hold you back because you're going to be that person that bought here or here, and it's going to go all the way up here and then come back down at the very next bottom. And you're don't be that. I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's me for being a miner early days in Ethereum. Holding Shiba Inu, I sold early. My bag would have been worth like $10 million. I bought Shiba Inu when it first came out, $50 in purchasing gave me 5% slippage on Uniswap. It was crazy. It was crazy. What's the next Bitcoin or Ethereum? Yeah, I'll talk about the opportunities there, and I've pointed some out, right? Every cycle has like a big meta, a big purpose, right? So we had EVMs come out, BNB. You guys were with me back when we rode that BNB wave between the 2017 and 2021 cycle, and we made a lot of money. We were buying BNB at $30. We were buying Solana at $2, and we were all happy in the chat and whatnot. And the bear market came, and some people didn't sell or they didn't. did sell or they didn't, and they were like, man, I round trip. But EVMs was that cycle as far as 2017, 2021. So between 2021 and 2025, you saw meme tokens pretty much be the light and the door entry for more users, especially a lot of young users came to Solana to play the meme coin slot machines, and people became millionaires. I mean, there's FARC token that went over $1 billion, right? From 1 cent to $1. And there was a lot of big memes in Ethereum. So trying to spot something out like that is, I think, the obvious thing right now. And you have different options. It's just, if you want the most gains, you're always going to want to look for the lowest market cap. So privacy is something that we need in cryptocurrency. Obviously, we talk about that over and over and over and over, because you got to imagine everything goes digital, meaning at some point in the next 10 years, we're going to all be using blockchain, whether it's through our bank or peer-to-peer, right? And that's just the future. And it has to be because of inflation and because technology, from a tech standpoint, it makes sense as a currency too. But if you're using cryptocurrency in the digital world, blockchain is transparent. So you can see everything that everyone does, what they hold, what they spend, what they buy. And could you imagine being at your job and you're sitting next to freaking Lumpy Rutherford over here, and you see his digital payout go to his wallet, and this lazy bastard over here that works less and less every day and you work harder, you can see on the blockchain how much he's getting paid. He's making more than you. It would cause chaos if you knew what everybody you worked with made, from the janitor to the CEO, all the way down from the top of the totem pole to the bottom. That would be the most weirdest thing, to know what everybody got paid exactly. And that's privacy. Like I said, would you want to know? Would you want your neighbors to know that you're buying, McDonald's every day? No. So privacy is important. That's why we covered the privacy tokens. And Monero just got banned, and Zcash in a few countries too because of that, right? But in the digital world, nobody knows what you're spending in your bank unless you told them. So that transparency is an invasion of privacy. So if that can't roll over into cryptocurrency, then cryptocurrency is just like going to be a scary place to transition to. You don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. No one wants that. No one wants people to know what they're spending on a blockchain ledger, and you want that to be private. So Zcash is the highest market cap, right? But it's the one Billy Gunn. So in the world of privacy tokens, Zcash is the Bitcoin, right? It's at the top of the totem pole. Now, where you're going to want to make the most gains between this cycle, which I believe is between 2025 and the next 4 years, is you're going to want to be in a privacy token, whether it's the Bitcoin or the privacy token. Zcash and Monero would be like Ethereum, but you can find low cap opportunities that I've talked about and do your research. Check out Fyro, right? You can buy a version of it on BNB and look at the tech and what they bring to the table. And you're going to be surprised and say, you know what? Wow. If privacy is that important, which I believe it is, right? We don't want people to know what we're spending in cryptocurrency. Would it make sense? It doesn't make sense in the real world, right? Do you want people to know what you spend on a weekly basis? What they earn, what they're doing with their money, where it's going? No, it's privacy. That's your privacy. That's your bank. Whatever goes on in your bank account, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Would you know if I had $100,000 in my bank unless I told you? Would you know I had $100 in my bank unless I told you? You would have no effing clue. And that's, if we're going to go digital in this world, it's got to be that way. So privacy is going to be the next cycle. So I would imagine the safest bet, Zcash, Monero, top of the food chain. And then the lower you go in market caps, the higher the risk, but the higher reward, bigger the opportunity. So Fyro, as we've been talking about, accumulating during this downtrend, which I believe starts this month. There's a whole lot of things that are lining up. The stars are aligning, at least in my world, in my brain. It's going to be the biggest opportunity in the next 4 years, right? There's always been big opportunities to get rich in crypto, being early in Bitcoin, being early in Ethereum, being early in meme tokens like Doge and Shiba Inus, the blue chips. being early in DeFi, being early to maybe a layer 1 blockchain that's coming out that's new, right? They're all risks, but in the world of privacy, Fyro is a good one. And then we talked about Beam, which you can get a wrapped version of it on Ethereum, its own blockchain, just like Fyro as well. I'm more bullish on Fyro though, and I would imagine that, and let's take a look at the website, that this is going to be probably the one that I'd say, you know what, I got to, like AI. I have my AI picks, but I think there's going to be AI bubble in the stock market, and then, you know, things will recover. But got to read all about it. Atlantis, the 21.4 million supply that it's going to have, so it's just about the same supply as Bitcoin, and it's a privacy token. So do your research, go to fyro.org, see if it's a good pick for you, and then if you like privacy, right, you believe in it, and you believe it's going to be the next meta, then hey, you got your picks there. You might find some other ones out there that you like. I'm a big fan of PoveX as well. Always have been close with the PoveX team. They don't have it on Deck Screener. If you want to see PoveX, you got to go to CoinMarketCap. But they've been around for a while, and I think they're going to have their day to shine. Small market cap as well. Zero protocol, all that good stuff. Got to learn all about that, guys. That's that research you got to do. A lot of Texas guys are now jumping on Arum mining bot. Think that's trash. They are just into recruit from what I've seen, and others because they're not smart enough to trade. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mining bots, so no matter what it was, it'd be a pass on that. But yeah, I don't mess with mining bots. There's no shortcuts in this world. Is ETH price being kept down in your opinion? Originally, Solana was taking away its fire. Right now, it's not sure why it's not won't run. Yeah, it's diluted. Ethereum's diluted. Look at it. If PulseChain succeeds, or if it did succeed, it would take a large market cap from Ethereum, just like all the EVMs. So Solana right now is in its early days to go on a run. Now, the first person to build on Solana is Jack Levin with X1. So sooner or later, Solana will be in the same scenario as far as being diluted when people start to build on SVM and do SVM compatible wallets and DeFi and all that stuff. But it only made sense to do that really on Ethereum because of the gas fees. So not so much with Solana. So I think Solana is going to be able to stretch out that time frame as far as the shelf life with success and people using it, because the gas fees are already cheap. Why would you need to build another chain on it, right? Like it wouldn't make as much sense as it did building other EVMs with Ethereum, with the gas fees being so freaking high, especially when transactions are taking place and there's like bullish news. When the price of Ethereum spikes, the gas fees go bonkers, and that's why EVMs exist. Price prediction for Unity in 2026. You're talking about Unity. That's the PulseChain dApp that I think Steven made. I believe you're talking about. Is that the one? Just correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll get back to you on that. Take my ETH and throw it into Sol, or keep my ETH? Hey man, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm skipping out on both. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I would obviously go with Solana, just for the simple fact that that blockchain in particular is, from what I've researched, going to be the home base for tokenizing the stock market. And a lot of the tokenization is going to go through Solana and Ethereum. But the most efficient, cheapest way to do that and make it work so it can efficiently do that with the mass amount of users to a platform that's going to tokenize the stock market in Wall Street, it would have to be hands down. Solana would be fast and cheap enough to do that efficiently from a gas fee point of view. If Ethereum didn't suffer from high gas fees, then we wouldn't have to worry, because then people can adopt a tokenized stock market environment. And, you know, they would pay low fees, but the only way they could do that effectively and it be cost efficient is via Solana. So real world assets are coming to crypto right now. That's why I've been talking about app.wiselending.com/RWA vaults. I'm going to be doing an interview with the founder tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Guys, join in. And we're going to pick his brain and talk about that, because the 20% fixed APR on your stable tokens here is a lucrative opportunity. And then understanding that the key points are that the money's not sitting in a contract for it to be tampered with and bad things to happen. It actually is going to the World Mobile Vault, real world asset. And there are onboarding new users like crazy right now. And the monthly subscription that the users pay for World Mobile is what pays the fixed APR of 20% in your stable tokens. So real world assets are going to be the secondary thing when it comes to DeFi, in my belief, in this next cycle, along with selections of privacy tokens and, you know, like the Zcash, Monero, and any other privacy that you find that you like that might win the lotto ticket, right? In my opinion, not a financial advisor, could be a big opportunity. So I'm going to try and you know, put my fork in it and try to nail it. Okay, Mr. .9. Okay, he said that is the one. Fair, Lawfella, don't worry, I won't sue. Rah. Yeah, I mean, like I always say, I'm not a financial advisor, but you know, in my opinion is entertainment. Take it with a grain of salt, but my honest opinion to you about that is, you know, I like to be diversified, but if it makes sense, then I will make a big shift. And that's why most of my Ethereum's like, it's already up. You've been up. I've got in my ETH at $7. I can take money to the bank and roll it into Solana in a lower market cap with cheaper gas fees, and it has way quicker adoption at this point, right? Unity. I don't know, man. I didn't get into Unity. I support its efforts. You know, I hope it does well because I want PulseChain to do well. But it doesn't have the mechanics that PLAZM has, right? Over on Base, that's supported by DexFi. So DexFi supports, produces real yield, right? That's where you get the 27.27% bond APR. So they're providing liquidity, and they're earning real yield. They're farming. Okay, so it's not coming from like some Ponzi investment, anything like that. It's low APR. You get USDC, but it's pumping it into PLAZM, because PLAZM's money that it generates is buying a position in bonds for real yield, so that the sustainability of the buy and burn doesn't rely on new users. Unity relies on new users, or else the buy and burn just disintegrates to nothing. It's a Titan X 2.0. So I don't know if the price could ever be juicy enough for you to make a lot of money, with that being something lingering in the back, which is a problem. It poses as a problem. Yeah, man, I get into everything early other than Texacoin. That's my late. I got into everything in crypto early. Now I see some people in Texacoin were mining since it was like the early days, but that's like the story. And the thing about mining with Texacoin is you got to understand, anybody, because I talk about Texacoin, is let me bring it up here. We'll take a look here. So with Texacoin, it's hash power, right? So when you're a miner, whether you've built your own miner, you got a mining rig and all that, what you have to clearly understand is hash power over time starts to produce less tokens because the difficulty increases at a halving point. So if you started mining Texacoin day one, maybe, for example, and I'm just throwing a number out there, maybe one miner was producing 7-10 Texacoin per day, versus now you're probably earning like 0.3, 0.4. So that's what got me off the train when I was mining Ethereum 1.5 a day. The difficulty went up. You know, they have halvings, and then you start producing 0.5 and you're all turned off. If I had stacked my miners and kept going, I would have been an Ethereum, probably literally $10 million winner right there at the rate that I was going and what I was planning to do. I was like going to do the whole garage, you know what I'm saying? So I just cannot believe I turned my my bullishness because my mining rewards dropped. I didn't understand the difficulty. I just said, nah, this isn't worth it. Oh, it would have been really worth it. But that's because of the adoption of Ethereum. Smart contracts was the most genius thing that ever happened. Texacoin, on the other hand, it has a lot of ways to go. They talk about the path to $16 with Texacoin. It's really about the path to adoption, right? So yes, I was right in thinking that my rewards were going down. It wasn't worth it, but I was wrong because I didn't understand the big impact of smart contracts. So for Texacoin, the only thing that's going to replicate that same scenario is if it gets adopted where they're trying to push it in Texas, and that's for it to be used as a downtown digital dollar starting in McKinney, and then maybe they spread out everywhere. The hope is the speculation, the hopes and dreams and what you want to speculate if you're bullish on Texacoin is I buy a ton of miners, I keep adding on, keep up with the difficulty, and this thing gets adopted throughout Texas over the years, spreads to other states, all this and that. That's the mindset that's going to get you through it. But if you start to not believe, it doesn't, and your belief system starts to line up, being negative, meaning not believing in it, and then the results are matching up with that during the time when the price is bad, and then adoption's not happening, then yeah, it was a bad choice. But then it could be a very big lucrative opportunity if it hits the path to 16, which increases ROI and people do adopt it. That's a big coin toss because everybody in crypto is going for adoption. So many things come out with really, really good tokenomics, and people just don't latch onto it, so they don't succeed. And then you're like, damn it, that was the best idea ever, but the marketing sucked, right? So over and over and over again, I've seen great tech come out, but the marketing sucked and they didn't get out to people. With Texacoin, the marketing's great and has been great, but crypto is such a tough learning curve, right? You need constant education. So the group of people that are talking about Texacoin, they seem pretty dedicated to educating people about it. And that's going to need to continue, because when we do go digital, in the reality of it, it's going to be a hard transition for people to do it. They're like, how's my grandma going to use digital currency? And then my parents who are from the older class, and then even myself, I don't do it on a mobile phone. I've never done anything on crypto on my mobile phone until recently with Texacoin. I just don't do that. I use hardware wallets, right? I don't touch anything on a mobile phone. So that's a little new to me. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go into this mobile phone digital currency mode, and I'm getting used to that. But outside of that, you have so many different stats to take a look at that you can determine how many miners are being they're building them, people are paying for them, they're building the mine and all that. And it's interesting because I have so much experience building my own miners, right? And then I'm like, I wonder if people understand the difficulty. And I'm like, you know what? If they don't, they'll be just like me and back out when the actual payouts start to lower. And then maybe they miss a big opportunity. I don't know. But I still don't even think Bitcoin is mass adopted yet, right? So we're still a long ways from everything. It takes years. I got in at 4.5 cents, went from 600 plus coins to 8 coins a day from start to today. Wow. I got told to jump into 2 projects early at gun shows. I didn't. I saw them at a gun show, and next day I was in 4 months after the start of the project. Wow, you got in early. Look at the REI unit 00 on base. Is that a token? Did we go way off top? Well, yeah, we kind of went way off topic, huh? I mean, other than ProveX and its concept, who's going to see this? Who is going to be the believers? Who's left out there? A lot of people are jumping ship. You said REI on base. Let's pull it up here. Let's see. What is this, bro? What are you pointing me to?
0 on base. Let me take a look at the website. I'll have to do some research. I don't know what I'm looking at. Interesting. I'll take a deep dive tonight. Why not? Another journey, right? Another journey. Next thing you know, I'm making REI bullish videos. But guys, I appreciate you being here tonight. Don't forget to smash that like button. It's always fun talking crypto. I think everything's got the risks. There's going to be so many opportunities you're going to miss and hit. So when you miss or hit, you just got to, especially when you miss, man, like if you're not failing, you're not even trying, right? So it sucks to fail, and it happens, and it's expensive when you fail in crypto. But as long as you pick it up, keep on trucking, keep on trying until you hit, you just get a flow, and you just start to hit and hit and hit, then miss, then hit. And you just got to stick to your guns. So if you are a PulseChain believer, even after 2.5 years of being what a lot of people would call a failure, and taking a look at the price as well across the board, maybe you're right one day and it does hit and it goes past sacrifice prices. You would have gained a lot from the opportunity on these dips, but we'll see. Time will tell. We'll track it, we'll report it, we'll document it. And the next few weeks, I think, are going to be crazy. But don't forget to join me tomorrow on the live stream with Peter Wise from the Wise Lending Protocol. And we're going to talk about real world assets here at app.wiselending.com/RWA vaults, which I think are going to take this DeFi next 4 years by storm. There's a few platforms out there. I've talked about 2 so far. There's going to be many more. There will be rugs, right? But, we know Peter Wise has been around for, years now. Familiar with Wise, the lending, and this journey is going to be a lot of fun. So let me put that link in the description here of the video. I don't want to put the damn vertical one. I want to put the horizontal. I'll put both links. YouTube does that now with live streams. You get like a vertical and a horizontal, right? The regular one. So one is they're always going to display 2, horizontal, vertical. I'll put 2 links here. Let me share them here. And join me tomorrow night at 7 p.m. PST. Thank you for being here. Pound that like button. Drop a comment. Till next time, we'll do it again. Yeah, dog.